Alright, hello everyone. Second straight Monday where we're doing a transit update. I've had a very busy day today between work and between talking to SEPTA today because I still have to plan for the inevitable if I were to move to Delaware, which um, honestly I don't really want to think about that right now only because again I still am worried about the Wilmington line getting cut, and if it does get to that point, we will do a separate video on that during the summer. So I think it's eminent that those cuts might be voted on, but we're going to get into the good news that New Jersey Transit train service will be returning tomorrow. And interesting how it falls on the same day the New Jersey State Broadcasters Association is supposed to perform their required monthly test. Very weird coincidence, huh? Very weird coincidence. So, that being all said, we're also going to discuss the changes that took on the Long Island Railroad today. The new schedules begun today. And we're also going to discuss the A line returning. So, three things we're going to focus on. I mean, we'll probably get into SEPTA again during a different video because I'll only specifically focus on the Wilmington line. But anyhow, let's get into this. So, breaking news from last night. The Brotherhood of Locomotive Engineers and Trainmen and New Jersey Transit came to a tentative deal last night after 3 days of negotiation with the National Mediation Board in Washington, New Jersey Transit President Chris Calori, New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy, and of course the Union of the Brotherhood of Locomotive Engineers and Trainmen. So again, regular service is expected to resume tomorrow, Tuesday, May 20th, 2025, after the 3 day long strike begun on Friday, May 16th. So we're going to get into the specifics in just a second. There's a lot we got to get into. We know that the last strike, which occurred in 1983, lasted a month. And it's an interesting coincidence also that when New York City Transit went on strike 20 years ago in December of 2005, that strike also lasted 3 days. So it seems, I guess, nowadays unions are more desperate to bargain and come to the table to reach agreements more than anybody else. Even though at that time it was a big deal when TWU Local 100 President Roger Toussaint went to prison for a month violating the Taylor Law. Now, in this regard, in the state of New Jersey, um, the Brotherhood of Locomotive Engineers and Trainmen, whoever runs that union, they're not going to be facing any legal consequences since the state of New Jersey does allow unions to strike. Right, because the Rutgers nurses went on strike a while back. So believe me, I keep an eye on union matters in Jersey, even though I don't really want to. I mean, yeah, y'all know how I felt about the Writers Guild strike and the SAG-AFTRA strike 2 years ago. But um, the chairman for NJT's representative that represents the union for train locomotive engineers and the trainmen, Tom Haas, said they're not going to publicize the exact deal. The real issue was, of course, dealing with the wages because, like we discussed last Monday at Penn Station, I was talking about how you know, they were complaining that, oh, the Long Island Railroad, they can make more money. The MTA pays them more in New York. But yet us in New Jersey, we're not getting paid more. And we're not meeting competitive salaries to meet inflation and tariffs. So there you go. I mean, what else is new? So it also says that they were able to show management ways to boost engineers' wages that will help retention and recruitment. So that's very important because you got to get more people hired in New Jersey Transit for a growing rail network. So Chris Calori, CEO of New Jersey Transit, and Governor Phil Murphy said the deal is both fair to employees while also bringing affordability for New Jersey commuters and taxpayers. So, yes, there's no specifics. Now, the reason why service did not resume today, um, they had to do safety checks, and work schedules are synced. So that was a requirement. I want to also bring up today that there was a lot of confusion on Friday and on Monday because a lot of people overwhelmed PATH. They overwhelmed the buses, and I don't know, maybe some people got desperate and took Amtrak. Just like how the Wilmington line of SEPTA gets cut. Don't be surprised if your Philadelphia trains get more crowded. So as of now, the agreement requires a vote. The board will be voting on the new ratification of the collective bargaining agreement for June 11th. So that will be on a Wednesday. So that's literally in 2 weeks. So that's the main thing, which is good news. So there was a contingency plan, but again, not enough because, again, trains can handle more people than buses can. So that's why, again, you need commuter rail because it can handle the amount of people that it's supposed to handle. So let's get into the service for tomorrow. Now, I want to start off with my cousin's line who live in Rockland County. That's who I'm focused on. My relatives who needed service, they had an option at least over the Hudson to take Metro North's Hudson line. Now, I don't know how they felt about paying the Tappan Zee Bridge toll. Oh, we shouldn't have to pay the Tappan Zee Bridge toll because NJ Transit can't get their act together and we can't change for the New York Penn train at Secaucus like we normally do with the Pascack line. So go figure that out. But as far as tomorrow is concerned, the first train from Spring Valley in Rockland County will be train 1602, 5:10 a.m. departure from Spring Valley. And then from Hoboken, the first train that will be going to Rockland County tomorrow will be train 1605, the 8:56 a.m. departure from Hoboken, New Jersey. Now, the next question is the Atlantic City rail line because a lot of people want to go to Atlantic City for the Memorial Day holiday. And we'll get into the North Jersey coastline after that. Atlantic City rail line train. So the first train from Philadelphia will be train 4613, 6:11 a.m. departure from Philadelphia. And from Atlantic City, the first train to Philadelphia 30th Street will be train 4608, 4 a.m. Departure from Atlantic City. Now, I want to issue something important. I do believe the River Line was not suspended during the strike because I don't think it affected the River Line. Maybe somebody can clarify that for me, but I believe the River Line was running during this. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't know. Right, let's focus on the North Jersey coastline. Now, as far as the trains from Long Branch are concerned, from New York City tomorrow, from New York Penn, the first train will be 4:27 a.m. train 3209. So again, that's 4:27 in the morning. Then going to Bayhead, the following train after that will be train 4315, 5:32 a.m. departure from Long Branch. And then from Bayhead, the northbound train will leave at 4:46 a.m. train 4310. From Long Branch, train 3202, 3:58 a.m. departure from Long Branch. Okay, there we go. We're now going to go into what else is important. I'm trying to organize this so that way I don't get confused here. Right. Let's start off with the busiest lines of New Jersey Transit. Let's start off with the Northeast Corridor. So from New York Penn, first train will be train 3809, 4:13 a.m. departure from New York Penn. After that, you'll have train 3806 that will be going from Trenton to New York Penn at 3:47 a.m. Then we'll go to the main Morris Essex line. Do I see the main Morris Essex line? Where's the main Morris Essex line? Okay, I see the Morristown line. Yeah, I'll just assume that's the main Morris Essex line. So, train 6602, 4:10 a.m. departure from Dover, New Jersey. And then from Hoboken, you'll have 4:30. I don't want to get into that one, no. When's the first train from Gladstone? That's what I want to know right now. Okay, so we got into when the first train's departing from Dover. From Gladstone, train 400, 4:27 a.m. from Gladstone. Okay. Then I want to find out the Montclair Boonton line. That's the important one. So, from Montclair State University, the first train that will leave the campus will be train 6200, 4:40 a.m. departure from Montclair State University. Going from New York City to Montclair State University, you have train 6209, 5:53 a.m. departure from New York Penn. I'm just trying to see what else we got here. Yeah, I will acknowledge Hackettstown pretty quickly. 5:04 a.m. train 1070, and then you got train 871 going from Hoboken to Hackettstown, New Jersey. Right, Raritan Valley line. I don't want to forget about you guys. You guys matter too, because, you guys matter on the Raritan line. Okay, so from Raritan, New Jersey, train 5404, 4:29 a.m. departure from Raritan. Going from New York City, Penn Station, train 5409, 5:41 a.m. departure. So what I want to finish up here to reorganize this, you have the main Bergen-Port Jervis line. So what time will be the first train from Port Jervis, New York? Okay, why are they putting this in two columns? This is dumb. So I'll just read it from here. So 3:44 a.m. will be the first train from Port Jervis, New York, going to Hoboken. As far as the train going from Hoboken to Port Jervis, yes, okay. 6:53 a.m. train 12:45. Okay. Wanted to confirm that because I didn't want to leave you guys forgotten in Port Jervis, New York. And last but not least, the irreliable Princeton Dinky. Oh, I got a bad feeling they're going to send out an alert first thing tomorrow. They're going to try to get train 4106 from Princeton out. I got a bad feeling. You'll wake up and you'll see, oh no, they kind of come back, but there's no Dinky and they'll have to provide the substitute busing. Now, as far as the Princeton Junction train 4105, 4:43 a.m. Okay, so there you have it. That's what's going on with New Jersey Transit. Good news that they are back at least. So before we get into the Long Island Railroad changes that begun today, I'm going to read a quick statement from Metro-North President Justin Funishek regarding the resumption of the main Bergen-Port Jervis line along with the Pascack Valley line. In a statement posted on MTA.info, Justin Funishek, Metro-North President, said, "Thanks to the incredible Metro-North workforce for coming through as always during this 4-day work stoppage. They got our west of Hudson customers where they needed to be safely, smoothly, and on time. We are thrilled that New Jersey Transit and Brotherhood of Locomotive and Engineer Trainmen were able to quickly agree to a new contract and will get service running beginning tomorrow." So they do mention it on the MTA website here, but we're not going to read that right now. So anyhow, let's get into the new Long Island Railroad schedules to begun today. Now, I want to acknowledge something very important, that the schedules will, in fact, be in effect until September 2nd. I also want to mention that effective weeknights, there's going to be certain changes to the Hempstead, Port Jefferson, and Ronkonkoma branches happening overnights from now until June 20th. Looks like we have some work happening on the main line. Let me take a look at the Ronkonkoma branch here for a second. So, I'm just looking at this for a second. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what this is all about. Maybe, I'm just wondering why was this posted, but I think it's only going to be specific times that... Oh, right. Oh boy, Mineola's still getting shortchanged nowadays. That's where I'll leave it at. Um, anyhow, let's just focus on the professional aspect of this. Um, New Long Island Railroad schedules begin today, Monday, May 19th, including a new weekday Montauk service. I just want to find out if the Cannonball's running on Thursday. That's what I'm curious about. The 5:13 p.m. train from Penn Station to Spionk, which normally operates to Montauk on summer Thursdays and Fridays, will now operate to Montauk, making all stops 5 days a week throughout the summer. Okay, that's good news. I'm glad the Long Island Railroad finally woke up about this, because it seems for many years, oh, we just assumed people would only take the train of the Cannonball train. So wait a minute, the Cannonball ran today? No way. So today was the first day of the Cannonball. Look at that. Wow. For service to the city from Montauk, the 11:37 a.m. and 4:18 p.m. Sunday Montauk branch trains that normally terminate in Jamaica will now operate to Penn Station. Really? So they're going to run the diesel equipment to Penn Station? I mean, yeah, they do have the track space for it, especially if you can put it anywhere between track 17 and track 24. All right, well, that's an interesting development. So Rob Freese said a statement. I'm not really going to read it as much. All right, more importantly on the Babylon branch, the Long Island Railroad will reopen the western ends of both platforms in the Babylon station schedule to accommodate greater passenger flow. The Babylon station serves as a transfer point to and from Montauk trains for non-direct trains. The opening of the platforms will mark Phase 1 of the ADA Babylon Rehabilitation Project. The remaining half of each platform will close for construction until September 2025. Elsewhere on the railroad, 2 new early morning trains will operate from Jamaica to Grand Central Madison on weekdays for greater transfer opportunities. The trains will depart Jamaica at 5:07 a.m. and 5:18 a.m. On the Long Beach branch, the 7:44 p.m. train from Penn Station to Long Beach will now make an added stop at Lynbrook. Now, this is important for yours truly because you all know I'm a Port Washington branch customer and my station is Auburndale. So we will acknowledge what's going on here. Beginning today, Monday, May 19th, one of two main tracks will be taken out of service during the weekday midday to support track surfacing between Metz Willets Point and the Bayside Station. As such, service at Metz Willets Point, Murray Hill, Broadway, Auburndale, and Plain Dome will be reduced to hourly intervals temporarily. Service to and from Metz Willets Point will be returned to normal during intervals during Mets weekday afternoon games. Now, this is an important note to Port Washington branch customers, and you should have noticed this today on your train time app or your PDFs. This is an important note from Bryant Park Piano. The 2:50 p.m. train from Grand Central to Port Washington. The good news is, if you were going to Bryant Park, you will not be heavily as affected. But if you're at the Auburndale station, please be advised that if you are heading to Bryant Park, I would recommend to just take the 7 train at this point. I know it's controversial to say that, or think about maybe figuring out an alternative plan getting to Penn Station. Because the only other train that I know would work out to get to Bryant Park is in the 11 a.m. hour. Other than that, that's where I'll leave it at. Other projects supported during the timetable include East River Tunnel Hurricane Sandy rehabilitation, which is supposed to begin on Friday, May 23rd. Topeka capacity improvements, Long Island Railroad rail replacement and maintenance in Brooklyn, station rehabilitation at Bayside House, Forest Hills. Please note that as of now at Auburndale, the elevator is scheduled to be completed in September. So again, I don't know why they don't mention that, but that's something that should be brought up. Okay, and the last note for today, we're going to talk about the A-Line resuming its regular service to Rockaway Beach, which is excellent news. If you do remember, the A-Line was shut down back in January. This was to complete critical resiliency and rehabilitation work regarding Superstorm Sandy repairs. So the main thing is the South Channel Bridge, which must swing open to allow for marine traffic to cross Jamaica Bay, also went an overhaul to update the aging electrical and mechanical components, which previously were often the source of significant delays in train service. Both structures are more than 65 years old. Okay, well, that's interesting. So you mean to tell me that this equipment was first installed in 1950 and they first rehabilitated it now? Because you gotta do the math of how long 65 years ago was. No. I'm thinking, how long ago was that? No, 1960, not 50. See, 75 is 50, 65 is 60, right? So I got my numbers wrong there. So that's the good news that the A-Line is back. You obviously had to do it. Wave barriers along the tracks. You got to prevent coastal storm surge. You got to be careful for the future because you got to make resiliency. So that's the good news that the A-Line is back. So I guess we'll just wrap up the video with this. At least the good news is New Jersey Transit's website has acknowledged that service will resume tomorrow. So that's the good news. I figured I wanted to document this because, like, oh no, somebody's not screen recording it and putting it on YouTube. Well, you can thank me because here's your Metro North proof of things. And then here's your New Jersey Transit side of things. Now, the main thing is a deal had to also get done because, again, this is a very busy travel week with Memorial Day coming up because, again, people want to go to the shore. People want to go to Atlantic City. People want to go see the Knicks play at the Garden on Wednesday and Friday, which will be Game 1 and Game 2 against the Indiana Pacers. And we got Beyonce performing at MetLife, so that was very important to have the Meadowlands shuttle come back, obviously, in Secaucus. So that was the main thing to note. So that's pretty much it, guys. I think 25 minutes is long enough for this video. So we're going to wrap it up here. Thank you all for watching. So until the next one, please take care. And for Memorial Day weekend, I will say this: please travel safely.